Hello and welcome to another cue breakdown. We're going to look at creating a childlike and playful track today. So if you want to stick around, I'll play the whole thing at the end. So you could skip there first if you like. Otherwise, we're going to dive in and see how I built it up. Okay, so the first thing to say is this is relatively simple melodically. We're just using A, D and E. The first A sort of section goes between A and D. We've got a breakdown that goes E, D, E, D, and then back to A and D. So we're sort of basing it on the A chord, and later on you will see that the xylophone and Glock tend to stick to just the same pattern. So childlike, playful, the instruments that instantly come to mind are mandolin, guitars, glocks, xylophones, things like that. So I started with mandolin. In this case, it's the mandolin from Hearth and Hollow, and it's just groove 1. And literally just playing those chords one after another. And I've put that alongside 2 guitars. So we've got this country start with, and then I've also paired it with an offbeat, but what I've done is panned them left and right, so it's almost like a bit of an echo. And they are both from Native Instruments session guitarists, strummed acoustic, and they're just 2 different patterns. You'll notice that I've actually got these other tracks in here as well, which are plucks, because I needed the sound. If you play some of these rhythms, they will continue for quite a long time. So for example, the country pluck sound, what I've done is changed the settings so that the playback stops instantly when the note finishes. Otherwise it will continue to where it thinks is the best part of a phrase, or however you've set it within that mode. So that gives us this effect at the end, for example, instead of a rhythm trying to carry on. So that's why I've got those extra instruments in there. Moving on, we've got violin 1 leader from BBC SO. In fact, a lot of these coming up are BBC SOs. So we've got a little melody going on. Changes slightly when we go from E to D. A bit less busy. And then when we get to the end section after the edit point, we're bringing in the trumpets and clarinets to take over melody. So the violin then goes to doing a bit of an ostinato pattern. And then we bring it back in at the end, again building with the original melody. So as I said, we've got trumpets and clarinets. I decided to pair, literally they are octaves apart. So they work quite nicely together. Similarly, we've got bassoon and oboe. Now I do introduce these earlier on as well. Just doing a different sort of counter melody, and again further towards the end we've got this. So when the violin stops doing its ostinato, effectively the bassoon and oboe take over that ostinato feel, so we don't lose any sort of rhythmic power. Then we've got the upright bass from session bassist, just doing nice simple rhythms and basically sticking to the root and the fifth of whichever chord we're on, A, D or E. Obviously a couple of little runs in there as well to get from one section to another. And then we're into tuned percussion, So the xylophone and the glock work together. And if you listen, when we get to this section here, same notes. So it actually works to glue the whole thing together, both of those working in tandem. We've got a shaker that has come from Apple Loops. We've got some cymbal swells as well. And as you can see, one at the end. And then to add a bit of extra movement, when we come back from the edit point, I've added in Latin percussion. We've got most of the instruments in the first time round, and then the second time you'll see this bottom one light up as well when I highlight that. So again, you're building up different layers, adding extra power as we go along. There you go. I'm going to play this for you so you can hear what the whole thing sounds like and follow along and try and listen out for those different elements coming in and out as it builds from relatively quiet to something a bit busier at the end, and obviously that edit point that people might need to use. Like and subscribe, always appreciated. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.